Welcome to the final episode of your show. This is really sad, as if the Mueller report wasn't the saddest news of the day. This is super, super sad. Are you sad, or are you like happy sad, or are you sad sad, or are you sad happy?
I'm happy sad.
Same.
Why?
I feel so proud of the show that I'm like, yeah! You know what I mean? Like, I just feel so good about the show.
Right.
But I will miss it.
Uh-huh.
I will miss it, but we've been talking about it like it's sending a kid off to college.
Oh.
Where you're like, I want this kid to go to college, but
right.
You know, you're sad.
Yeah, you're happy because they're going to college, but you're sad because you had to bribe their way into college. I feel you.
Exactly. It's
let's talk about the show. It really has been quite a journey that has become like a cultural phenomenon. I mean, you have people screaming "Yes, Queen" to you in the streets, which they will do until you are like 100 years old. You realize that, right? Like, what has that been like, creating a show that has become a fundamental part of people's lives? It goes just beyond just the comedy.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I think the coolest part about it is when we set out to do it, we started as a web series in 2009.
Right.
And Ilana and I were on an improv team for 2 years before that. And the show is just about our dynamic. It's just about our friendship. And then obviously more than that, but that seems to be what people have responded to the most is the friendship. And that's been the through line throughout the whole thing. And I love that that's like the biggest takeaway, I think.
I feel almost like I haven't been able to process that, what you're asking about, until, you know, now that it's ending, I'm like, you know, there's the space actually to process that. Before it was like, just, I don't know, like we've been on this roller coaster and making this show for so long, and now that is kind of settling in, and it feels phenomenal to me.
It really is a wonderful story because it ties so much into your real lives. That's what a lot of people don't know about the two of you. Specifically, like, these are some of the funniest people you can ever hang out with, just anywhere you go. You just, like, you carry the show with you. What's interesting, though, is when you started the show, it really was about two really young, you know, women, like 20-year-olds doing their thing. And it feels like the show grew as you grew, and that became part of what you started to write into the show. Was that like a very active decision that you made?
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, it's been a very meta experience, the show. Especially the ending has been so, it really, you're watching us grow up right alongside the characters.
Right.
We were just talking backstage about how, I'm like, I don't even know how else to do it, really. You know, we've just been trying to be as true to ourselves as possible, keep learning what that means as the show's going, you know, outside of the show, like, who am I? And keep putting that back into the show. And it's just, I guess, kind of like why we clicked creatively and artistically in the first place.
Wasn't there like a temptation? Did you ever have a temptation to just escape reality, though? Because the show started tying into what was happening in the real world. You had Trump winning the election, and then you felt the show change after that. And you had issues happening in the real world, Black Lives Matter, police shootings. You felt the show adapt in that world as well. But wasn't there ever a temptation just to be like, no, our show exists in fantasy? I ask because this is something I wish for my show all the time sometimes. I'll just be like, no, fantasy, none of it is real. Is that something you ever thought of?
I mean, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do go more fantasy to get a break from that.
Yeah.
But I think the more we chugged along season by season, at exactly what you're saying is like the world just like, we couldn't get away from it, and it just seeped so much into the show organically that we kind of couldn't separate it fully.
And like, that's, I think, just what this project calls for. You know, like, fantasy is really important and necessary, I think, but your show and our show, I think it's just not what is being called for. So you kind of got to like answer what is needed at that time.
When you look at what you've done and you look at how much people have loved you together, you know, you've become known as a comedy duo, like sisters in the jokes, and you have been on a journey together. But this is the end of a chapter. Do you see yourselves moving forward together? I mean, you're still going to be friends, I hope, and. But where do you see yourselves going from here? Is it going to be like the Jordan Peele, you know, Keegan-Michael Key thing? Is that going to be that, like, one of you making movies and then the other person going into acting, or are you both going to make and act? Is this where you're going?
I'm not going to do the whole thing, vertical thing.
Oh.
But I just talk about how
Ilana's got a thing.
I
she
use
does.
this thing, this like visual, but really I'm not even gonna do it. It's
No,
just that
now you got
But now you have to do it.
What are you doing?
it's like
It's not even that
it's
long.
genius. Okay, it's brilliant.
It is.
Okay, so it's just like we've learned all the hats. You know, we show ran the
Yes.
show and writers and the actors and editing and just producing and all of it. And it's like all the hats just stacked up on one project. And
Yes.
now we're up here and it's horizontal now where it's like we have all this whole skill set and we can like scale up by using each skill, not necessarily, it's just time.
Right.
It just took all the time to do all the hats on one thing.
Yes.
So I think we want to both, we have this skill set now that we've been privileged enough to learn for 5 seasons of TV. So I think we're both going to do a lot of different stuff.
So the hats get wider?
Yeah, the hats flip over.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Because the hats are stacked on
Yeah,
top of
and
each
then they're
other.
like-
Right.
And then you tilt
yeah.
them over.
Yeah, and then it's
they
almost
grow
like-
this way.
Yeah, they're
Yes, and then there's like,
Like, is it
10
like- is it like
rows
top
of hats.
hats?
Yeah, it's like then
All
you have
different
like
kinds
a
of
whole row,
hats.
10
Yeah.
hats, and then hats on
Wait,
hats
wait,
on hats.
wait! You're putting hats on hats.
Well, eventually,
So the hats
yes.
are not like expand. Because you made it
Eventually,
sound like
yes.
the hats are expanding.
No,
Oh,
you get
no.
new hats.
You get new hats.
But how
get
do the,
new
You
hats.
get new hats, Trevor.
but how do the hats balance on the hats? Like the
Well,
hats
at
are,
first
aren't
it's
the
like
hats
they're like
round?
wobbling, and it's like, whoa, we can only do 5 seasons because there's like so many hats on one stack, and then you like go horizontal, and then it's like, whew.
I'm just gonna wear this hat
and then you put
today
10
on
hats
this
across.
project.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm
And then
just
I'm
an
gonna
actor,
wear this
I'm
hat.
showing up.
Alana and I will wear a hat together on this one.
And you're like just acting
Like
on
one
this.
hat's at the same time? Or the same
We
hat?
get like the same hat.
The same, like a matching hat?
Yeah, we get like 2 printed at the mall of the same hat.
When you're building the second row of hats, though, do you have to start with all the hats at the same time so that they balance? Or
No,
do you put
no.
you
Nope,
can just put
nope.
one higher up?
You can put one higher up.
We have a different array of hats, individually and collectively.
Why not just like stack them all vertically next to each other and then
Yeah, I
just
didn't
create
even
multiple
want
ones?
to do it. I like honestly was. I
You
was
want to
gonna
be able
scare
to
you
see
guys.
all the hats.
I
I'm
shouldn't
sorry,
have-
this
I
should have
shouldn't
been
have
more
mentioned
about like just like the
even
show.
said it.
No,
one's
it's
been
my
this
bad.
curious.
It's-
People usually just rush past this.
They're like,
hat.
we don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so how does it feel?
No,
to
it's
be
just
a
I've
woman?
stacked hats before.
Yeah, you're a hat stacker.
I've
you're-
stacked hats.
Oh, you got
Oh,
hats.
you a
girl.
hat stacker.
Yes,
You wear
I love
tons of
anyone who
hats.
knows me knows that I stack hats,
Yeah.
and then like this like threw me off because that's one of the things I struggle with is because I understood when you were stacking them this way, but then when you put them sideways, then I
Well,
was
it's almost like you
completely
get a
thrown.
case like for sneakers,
Yes.
and then you like see them all in your closet, and you're like, oof, that's so much nicer than one stack of hats. You earned the horizontal hat shelf.
And that is how you plan to move forward.
That's success. That is success.
Multiple hats is the success,
That's what scaling. That's my symbol of scaling up.
right?
It's
be
the
real.
It's the next chapter, really, is the hats.
I don't know either.
This has been a weird day for me. I feel like it's been an emotional, not roller coaster, just like ride, just like a ride. You know, you feel like
I think that's what we serve.
yeah.
So this is accurate. And
Like when I started my day, I was like, this Robert Mueller thing is crazy, but now I'm going home thinking about hats.
good.
I feel like
happy
that's
we
what your
turned
show
it
has done. I feel like that's what Broad City is. No matter what you're feeling in your life, you leave thinking of hats.
Oh my
No,
God,
like the hat's like a
Trevor.
metaphorical hat, like a where you go like, oh, what was troubling in me? I don't know what was troubling me anymore. I'm thinking about hats now.
You're right, we do actually deal a lot with metaphorical hats.
Oh my gosh, we did this year.
Yeah, it really is. Like one of the things in the episodes, and this is something I've been dying to ask you is, in one of the episodes, your character comes out as bisexual, and it's not like a big thing. It's not like a hoo-ha. It's not like a hoo. It's just like no, she's bisexual, and it's just like that's.
Yeah, there's
It's normal the way it should be, but I was just like, wow.
There is a hat involved in that episode in particular.
Right. No, there really is.
There really
There actually is. Yes, but like, why did you choose to do it that way?
Because we felt the show has been so inclusive and Ilana's character has been so fluid and open.
Yes.
And it's not like Abbi's character wasn't, but we never made a big deal about it on the show, and why would we now? But we were able to use the hat. It sounds like we are just all about hats. People who haven't seen the show, they're like, what is this show?
They're
The
gonna watch
hats.
it now for the hats.
They are. But yeah, once we found this ugly hat, and it was a way for us to talk about Ilana's feelings
Right.
towards Abbi being bisexual.
And it was
Or
like,
fluid, because we didn't even label it.
Yes.
it was fun to also like as close as Abbi and Ilana are, they're also like sort of like standard narrative dudes in a way where they're like not going to talk about it, so they like put it on something else, and it was like
Yes.
so. It's true of us, and it was funny to like put in the show.
Yeah, Ilana's like, so do you think that this is the hat for you?
It's
And
like, just talk
are
about.
we talking about the hat, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun.
It was amazing. And can I tell you, the entire show has been phenomenal. I mean, it's great that you've gotten to end it where you feel like the story ends. We're excited to see where you go from here. May your hat stacking be prosperous and joyous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having
Wonderful
us.
seeing you again.
Of course, the show.
Wonderful
Thank
being
you.
with you again. Ladies and gentlemen, the series finale of Broad City airs March 28th at 10 p.m. on Comedy Central. Abbi Jacobson and Ilana Glazer, everybody!